Oh, I'm like no format,
said
free
go.
flow.
Jay said we good, so whenever
That's it.
We
I'll
rolling,
intro
so
from
this
right
part
here.
of the
Like this would be
intro.
it. Yeah, we here. You know what I'm saying?
Let's
They
do
said
it.
they wanted me to intro. This is the intro.
Let's do
Welcome. Introduce yourselves. You heard? That's what my intro would be.
Welcome to the Can't Afford Therapy Podcast.
Yo, I forced her into the
All
introduction.
right,
There we
now
go.
you're irritating. Welcome to the Can't Afford Therapy Podcast. We are back. My name is Antoinette.
Yes, and I'm SaVon.
And
I'm a master manipulator.
Hey,
That's it. It worked out. I didn't have to do the intro.
He did
Look at
that.
And I'm Josh. I didn't even introduce myself before.
No, but I think Antoinette did.
She did.
Yeah.
I love this. This is the
what
kind of
I do.
intro that I fuck with.
This is what you need?
This feels good because it's silly.
More. I'm with that. You should
Yeah.
do it more. She would have a panic attack.
She is.
this is a podcast. Every week we tune in to discuss a plethora of topics that hopefully you can relate to. Can't afford therapy. I think we can afford therapy, but this format of therapy, this kind of community and friendship, like you're literally watching a friendship bloom.
This is
like
true.
in real time.
Yes.
We were three strangers brought together to get real vulnerable and to talk about our shit.
Yeah.
And so there's an authenticity here that I don't think can be replicated or duplicated anywhere. So this is therapy and this is the work. So shout out to us and welcome.
Welcome.
Soundbite queen over here. You heard that?
That was awesome.
good.
Really?
That was awesome.
That
Oh
was
my
solid.
God, thank you so
My shit would have been like, yo, we here talking and all that.
That would have been it.
Oh God.
No,
Which-
that was awesome.
That
That was
was.
amazing. I think you should do it more.
Yes.
Oh.
I think we should, roll some dice on who's gonna intro the pod, because I think it lends a different energy to the episode.
Yeah,
It
that was
did.
good.
For
well,
sure.
thank
Like
you.
that.
Well, today we're gonna be talking about red flags. We're gonna be talking about red flags.
I was waiting for it.
The dating pool is contaminated with piss.
Oh no.
So,
Yeesh.
Says how old are you? The baby. This is the baby of the group now, right?
He is the baby of the
Low
group.
key.
Am I the elder? I'm the elder.
I mean, that ain't between me.
I'm chivalrous. I do not talk on a
I'm
woman's
35.
age.
I don't care.
You could talk on your age. I ain't talking on your age.
But how old are you?
I'm
You
30.
Oh my God, you are a baby too.
I am. I'll take that.
Shout out to the old
I accidentally
head.
zeked my beard and I had to shave my shit down. And somebody was like, "You look so young." I was like, "Oh, word, cool.
Wow.
That's nice."
Here we are.
Here we are, red flags, men that can't shave. No,
Right. Men that shave their beards off in 2022. What
Oh,
the
Jesus.
fuck is going on?
I'm getting smoked right now.
nah, man.
I'll take it.
Again, as always, please make sure you comment, like, subscribe if you're into the content.
I like this.
Yeah, this is what we do.
SaVon be
just
whoring
trying.
us.
I'm trying to get people
Go
No,
ahead.
whore
here.
us.
I want people to feel the same community that we feel. I want them to feel it.
One
too.
of us got to do it. And I'm
for
glad
sure.
it's you.
Yeah.
That's SaVon's role every episode.
I love it.
I'll pimp us out.
Yeah,
Alright.
let's go.
You
She's
do
like,
it.
all right.
You do it so nicely. It doesn't feel gross.
No, it doesn't.
That's
yeah,
good.
with a
That's
little
good.
smile.
It's a
Red
little
flags.
Red flags. Red flags.
Who wants to start with their red? I can't wait to hear your red flag.
What is
I'm
a-
very excited.
Can we? I'm gonna play Antoinette's role for a second.
Yes.
So, what is a red flag?
I think a red flag is something you run towards. No, I think it depends, right? There's red flags in friendships, in business, and relationships. I think we're gonna
It's
have
all
a more
relationships.
broader conversation of red flags, and whatever you want to tackle, I think we tackle, right?
Okay.
So if red flags in relationships, the first thing that come to mind, you go for it. If there's one in a friendship that comes to mind, let's go for it. But I think red flags is anything. It's almost like a warning. A red flag is a warning that
Gives
you
you
can
pause.
either ignore or accept, but just know behind that red flag, it can go down.
It can go
Okay.
down.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
interesting.
So I think that's what a red flag is. Where do we begin?
I think when I had texted the idea of talking about this, it was knowing when to leave. I wrote as like the kind of in quotations next to red flags.
Okay.
Or I wrote knowing when to leave and then quotations red flags. So for me, a red flag is like knowing when to skedaddle, get the fuck out of there. Like, yo, there's one too many of these red flags. One red flag is okay. You know, you're like, all right, we can deal with that. Two red flags, you're like, all right, what the fuck is going on here? Three red flags, you're like, all right, 3 strikes, you're out,
Yeah.
bitch. Get out of here. That's done. So that's Like I look at it as warning signs. It's like a sign of like, all right, how many of these is about to pop up before I make the right decision?
Yeah,
It's like the universe being like, make the right choice, Josh.
So I was raised to be a gentleman. So I would be remiss if I didn't ask the lady in the room the question that I was going to ask the floor, which is, what is your red flag?
My number one red flag, and this translates between intimate relationships, sexual relationships, business partnerships, work, whatever.
Neck tattoos.
No. If you cannot disagree and argue your point from a place of love and respect, that is my biggest red flag. Because in every relationship, and it's all relationships, our relationship is a relationship that you maintain.
Yes.
We're not always going to agree. We haven't always agreed, right? But there needs to be a level of respect. And then behind that, rooted in that respect, is love. And so I'll talk about, romantic relationships. I have said to a partner, how can you talk to me like this and say that you love me? Like, how can you turn that off? How can you look at me, someone you love, and violate me in this kind of way? It doesn't compute to me, because when I love someone, there is a level of patience and grace and tolerance and just compassion and care. This person really was quite emotionally abusive towards me, and unfaithful, and not once was I ever treating him as someone that I didn't love. Love was always present.
That's a bar.
Love was always present. And I have dedicated, I have challenged myself for love to be present in everything that I do. Whether I'm at work and there's a young person right now that I'm thinking of who needs a lot of guidance, who they're very green, and they frustrate me at times because they ask questions at the most inopportune time. But damn it, I'm going to stop, and I'm going to figure out a way to send the emoji that will make this land softer, but still be direct about what we need to do, and to hold and to coach them up in a loving way. And I think that's really important. I think it's really important in everything that we do. And because I've committed to that kind of approach, that's the type of people that I want around me. Or I've noticed, or I challenge that. Like I can say it even with Mandy. Mandy is somebody that she is about her fucking business,
Absolutely.
right? And if you start fucking up her business, you gonna get the business. Now, we talking about Mandy B for folks that don't know. We're in her studio.
Shout out, Full Court Studio.
Shout out. And so on the side, Mandy and I talk a lot, and she's slowly being like, what would you do with this? How would you approach this? And I'm like, well, here's how it can land. Here's how, here's some tools, whatever. And I think that's really important. I just think that's important. So that, I don't want to go on and on, but that is my number one red flag. If you disagree with me, if you feel I've hurt you, I want to know, but I don't need to be disrespected or yelled at or feel threatened in order for you to get that point across. I need you to trust me enough to know that I can, one, hold myself accountable, and two, care about you enough to show, improve with change behavior, that I can hear you. And if we disagree, we can disagree, but we can argue from a place of love. That's why when I have hard, give me your hand. When I have hard conversations, I touch somebody. It's very hard to disrespect someone and to hurt them and try to hurt them with your words when you're touching them. It's just it's just a practice that I've put into place where, like, hard conversations, we're sitting close and I'm touching you to keep that human connection.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm tangible.
I'm here, I'm tangible, and I'm human.
Yeah.
Present.
And I love you.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Josh, you have one for yourself.
Like a red flag for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think a red flag for me is like a repeat offender. Someone that keeps doing the same thing that you keep setting boundaries for over and over again. Like that's a huge red flag. Like if I'm like, hey, don't do that, and they do it again, just means that they're just not considerate, little self-centered. It's a lot. That shows a lot. It's very telling for someone that doesn't listen.
Yeah.
You know, so that's a huge red flag for me.
Mine's a little bit more surface. A red flag for me.
You better say her shoes.
No.
That is also a red
fucking
flag.
kicks are whack.
Nah. I mean, that is a red flag, fellas. Like,
Dirty sneakers.
Yeah, no. For me, a red flag is somebody
Not them kind of dirty sneakers.
who has a ton of friends. I am so wary of people who run in let me rephrase that run in a bunch of different friend groups.
A chameleon.
That frightens me.
Why?
I cannot disarm myself when I feel like you have a ton of friend groups. Not friends, right? Like, obviously, if you have a core friend group, that's just what it is.
You mean like associates? Someone that's like...
But somebody who...
I understand what you're
It's like, oh my God, I'm with this group of girls this weekend, and those girls don't like these other girls, but I'm going to hang out with that girl too, and then I'm hanging out with these guys. Like, somebody who's just that... That is why I could never be like of the industry, because it's a lot of politics and people aren't really authentic when they run in those kind of circles. So for me, automatically, you could be the greatest person, one-on-one interaction. When I see a ton of friend circles and I just can't look past it, because I always have this thing. How do you know who to trust? If everybody's your best friend, and you're telling everybody your deepest secrets and how you feel and spilling your emotions, and might be like, oh yeah, don't say this to X and so, and then you tell other, like, it's just cross-contamination that I can't trust. So already that is a red flag to me, that everybody's your best friend, everybody's your homegirl, your homeboy.
It feels like the networky,
There's no value.
person.
It's just, where is my value as your friend?
Yeah.
If we're supposed to be so close, but you're so close with these other groups of friends, and maybe that's some shit I gotta work on within myself, right? No,
I you're touching on something that is resonating with me. I think that the way that you're describing it doesn't completely resonate with me, but I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Because I feel the same way. Like when I see someone that like is overly social and exists in a lot of different spaces, I start to think like, which one is the real you? Right, like the one that I'm getting when we're one-on-one, and it's like you're too much of a chameleon for me. Like you morph into whatever is and even if someone seems like they're the same person in all of those spaces, I start to think like, or like if someone's too bubbly and too nice and I'm like
somebody gotta hate you. I'm sorry.
When are you unhappy?
Somebody, and it's not even about happiness levels for me. It's just like you can't please everybody.
Yeah.
And if you're pleasing everybody,
are you saying a people pleaser then? Because a people pleaser and a networky, mixy person who's just
I don't like neither of them niggas.
Kind of hopping, right?
I don't
Who's just like
people pleaser.
hopping
Two
around
flags
and
on the
just
play.
like attaching themselves to all kinds of people for whatever validation they need. That's different.
Yeah.
I think I'm weary of it a little bit because of you said where do I fit in your life? I had someone in my life who said to me, "You love every fucking body. That means you don't love me." This was a romantic partner, and I was like, wait. My capacity for loving people and loving many people has nothing to do with my capacity to love you. If anything, I would think that you would be inspired by the fact that I'm able to show up in this way with all of these people, and I have this love in me, and that I adore you and choose you as my partner.
Yeah.
So I hear that, and when years later when we talked again, he mentioned how it was deeply rooted in his own insecurity around his place in my life. And so when you said that, it made me a little nervous for you, or a little weary, or not weary. I don't want to put any draw any conclusions or on it. But it stood out. It stood out to me.
Yeah, understandably.
But I understand the type of person that you might be talking about who's just inauthentic and hopping around in all these fucking groups.
Yeah.
And you can tell that they just need that validation.
Yeah.
That's what it
or
is.
they
Okay.
trade connection as a commodity.
Exactly.
That-
You know,
Yeah.
like people who like connections are a form of leverage.
Yeah.
Which is like
Yeah, because again, so I like to create genuine, real connections with people. Like I don't have the capacity to be me with every single person that comes into my life because it's just not real. I just can't do it. I can't, like, I would be exhausted. I would be drained if I took on that with every single person. So I have to be selective. So when I see people who actually try to take on that challenge or put the mask on, it just scares me away. Like, yo, I gotta kind of stay away from you because I don't know who you are. I don't know how you show up for everybody else. Like for me, I'm always gonna be that dependable friend, the reliable friend. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get it raw from. If you call me and you need whatever advice or you need to, that's who I am.
yeah.
Like, so I can imagine calling somebody with those intentions and not knowing what they're gonna do with that information on the other side. And maybe I'm jaded. Maybe it's a little bit of trauma there. I don't even know. But
You're also
I've always,
in an interesting industry, and
Yep.
you're also around very interesting
Facts.
people
Speaks
that's
to
very
that.
networky
yeah,
and very inauthentic.
yeah. Yes, exactly. So
Yeah.
I think that would be one of the red flags that come up for me. Now I want to ask y'all, if someone were to meet you, what would be your red flag that applies to you?
You know, it's interesting because the red flag that Antoinette initially brought up made me think of myself. Like, speak from love. And a huge part of my personal development has been learning how to approach conversations with love. Because before we started recording, you guys brought up something about me is that I'm very blunt and kind of authentically whatever it is that you guys perceive me
You
as,
are
right?
yourself, baby, and I love it.
So here's the thing is that I get very passionate in conversations and I wouldn't say I don't hold my tongue. I've become so much better. But I assume because I take love as honesty. So for me, love is honesty.
It is.
So when I give it back, that's my form of love, honesty. For some people, that's not great. And they don't perceive that as love. They perceive it as being mean. So sorry, let me adjust myself here. You said something that made me think about myself in saying that, like I'm not disrespectful. I don't curse or call a woman out of her name. And, you know, definitely for my fiance, like I have a thing where when we're having a conversation, I get very intense and I'm very honest in that conversation. And my fiance said to me before, like, hey, I need honey with my medicine. And like, I need to be spoken to with love. So that immediately, like you said that and it was like, boom, resonated with me. Cause I was like, I want to be that. Like, that's what I want to be for her. And I try. And it's like, it's so hard with my personality to soften my delivery. And that's why when you said, I feel like you're like, you guys are like, yo, you're blunt. And I'm like, I feel like I haven't been that bad. You see how blind I am to what bluntness is. Because I thought I was being really soft and tame with my bluntness. But then you guys say that and I'm like, I got to reevaluate this shit again. You know what I mean?
Back to the drawing board.
Can I offer you something?
Yeah, please.
Something that someone actually said to me that I had to really reflect on. And I think about Amanda Seales in this moment. Brilliant woman. Her delivery sometimes is an interesting delivery.
Yeah.
And as a result, her message falls on deaf ears.
Often.
Unfortunately. And I think the mistake being made, and the mistake that I have made often, is that I was not cognizant of how people needed it from me, which is labor, right? It's labor. And it's a labor of love. And I absolutely agree with you. Love is deeply rooted in honesty.
Yeah.
But if it's falling on deaf ears, they're not receiving that love. They're not receiving that love.
Yeah, no, I know. And I experienced it firsthand.
Yeah.
And
I love that she said that to you.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
And this is something she said to me at the beginning of our relationship. So I've actually kind of really transformed my way of communicating because of that. And I always remember it.
Which shows you love her.
I use that as like a mantra. Like when I feel like I'm getting a little too intense, I'm like, honey, right? Because I'm like, how can I make this softer? How can I deliver this in a way that'll be digestible for her? Because she is a sensitive, sweet, caring empath of a woman. And I understand that whatever my intensity is, she's going to take it on. And I need to not do that sometimes. So I think, like something that you said, I've tried to do it, but I need to do it more, is touch. When we're talking, touch more. I think the disconnection. I also tend to like to stand when I communicate, and that's not good.
And hover over.
That's not good. Well, I don't want to hover over. Problem is that if you have two people who don't stand, that's what ends up happening, right?
That
so
dynamic
then, now
is
I
interesting.
just became power, right? And I don't mean to. I'm just like really into
Authority.
it. And it could be about something as simple as like she'll come home, she'll tell me about work and how she's stressed out at work, and I'll listen. I listen. I'm a good listener. I listen quietly, and I'm like, you want to hear my perspective? I'll ask her. Like, I don't give unsolicited advice, right? And then I'll start, and then I get into it because I care about her, and I'm like, I care. Like, you should, like, I'm like, what's happening right now is unfair. You need to, and it's like I get really intense about it, and I understand that now she's absorbing my energy, but I'm way better at turning it off. She carries that. Yeah. So the energy I just passed into her, she's carrying that shit now, and I'm like, fuck, I just gave her that energy. So we're kind of digressing a little bit.
You could take it back with some touch.
Yes. Well, we've been working on that stuff. But the point is, with the question is that that's something that I would recognize in myself, especially a younger me, is my form of communication and being aware of the intensity that I send that could be sent as a red flag, especially for someone who's much more sensitive than me.
Yeah. I think, so the word you used was honey, and I love that you have a word, right? Because I was told something similar where the word for me was gentle, be gentle. And essentially it's the same thing, right? She just wants a more gentle delivery.
Talk to me now.
And that's been the word that really kind of changed my communication style. Is I just need you to handle me gently. Yeah. Like, that's literally what I've been told. I'm like, damn, I just ignored you for a little bit. I ain't mean like not handling you gently. I didn't know I was mishandling you by creating space and not talking to you. Yeah. But still, I wasn't gentle with her in those moments because I didn't like communicate that. So that word stuck out to me. When you said honey, I thought gentle. Yeah. And it's like, oh shit, these are triggering points. Like, this is what guys do, I guess.
Tools.
Yeah, definitely. Like, and I don't know if this is a flag or not, but whoever's listening, just be cognizant of this, what I'm about to say. So when you said you like to stand and like communicate, the first thing that came to my mind was R. Kelly's interview with Gayle King, and he stood up.
That is a wild comparison,
y'all
bro.
Me with this shit.
No, I don't be on that energy, bro.
I'm so sorry.
Josh,
the first thing
he just compared you to R. Kelly.
Why did that
you should fuck him up. You should fight him.
I would never.
I would allow that.
I would not.
He deserves it. That was crazy.
Just the first thing that I saw in my head, the dynamic, and it was power, and I was like,
that's how it can feel. Yeah,
you know what? I had watched the video. Let me clean this up a little bit. I had watched the video on body language.
No, that's real.
That was a study. It was a case study.
Absolutely.
That interview was a case study on his body language and the power dynamic and the performance that he put on and standing over Gayle, like all of that. So I'm not putting you in that class.
Manipulate,
I just harkened back my memory bank of y'all killing me with this shit.
But no, what you're saying is true.
Yes.
It does create an energy, and I pointed it out with purpose, right? I didn't point it out like because I'm ignorant to the fact of what the effect is in the conversation. I pointed it out because I understand that when I do that subconsciously,
facts.
I have to point it. I have to be like, oh fuck, you just stood up. Sit the fuck down. Like, I have to be aware of it. Now it's a problem with someone like R. Kelly who's doing it unaware.
Yeah.
No, he was manipulating. Fucking aware.
Or
no, I don't think he was aware.
He was asserting his power.
I don't think he's aware. I really don't.
He may have been asserting his power. I just don't think he was like standing up right now is going to be what asserts it. I just think it's a natural thing for him to react that way, right?
That's his nature.
If he is doing it with intention, then he's just a manipulator. Right,
well, which he is,
exactly
what we've heard.
Exactly, and it's just being weaponized.
We heard.
And I bring it up because it's something that I don't want to weaponize. It's something that I don't want to do with intention.
For sure.
I want to intentionally actually dial it back.
Yeah.
Right. So, but this is things when I was younger. I mean, I can point out 150 red flags I had as I grew up. So it's like I was insecure. I was controlling. So many different red flags that I had in relationships. I've killed red flags as I've been in relationships.
That's dope.
Right? And I'm sure there's some right now that I'm not even aware of.
Yeah.
And that my fiance is probably like, yeah, well, bring up this fucking thing, right? So who knows, right? But my point is that I'm working on it.
For sure.
I'm working on it. I'm a infinite student, and I'm always down to learn about myself.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. I feel like I got a ton of red flags my damn self. And
Really?
I think we all should have a ton. There shouldn't just be one, but I think the first one that comes to mind. Why?
I just said I love you.
But why you love me though? For my red flags?
No,
you like
you're
my
just-
flags? You ready to laugh at my flags?
No, go ahead.
Why everybody think I got mad hoes? I don't like
What?
that flag. Not
Wait,
you. That's
that
a red
was-
flag. That's the flag.
Here's
That's the
the
flag.
thing.
That's
That
the
was
flag.
crazy because I
He told
didn't say
himself.
anything
He told
like
himself.
that.
That's
I
the
looked at you and I said,
flag.
I love
I love
him.
you, yes.
I'm not
And he
talking
said,
about
why does everybody think I got mad hoes?
But not you.
Excuse me?
That's
Totally
my
yourself, bro.
flag.
Oh,
I'm
that's
telling you
your
my
flag.
I
That's
don't-
not a real flag. That's somebody else's judgment. What is your real flag, my guy? What is the thing that you do? If you don't have mad hoes, then what is the flag?
Well, what is me flag? I would have to say,
I can't with it.
honestly, bro, I can detach really easy.
No.
That's my red flag.
Yeah.
Detachment. Seriously, like it
In
could
what
be
way?
in any stage. It could be in any facet of friendship, detachment is my red flag.
You're an
Did
escapee.
you ever call your friend?
I did.
Good.
I reached out to my friend, the one that we spoke about a few episodes.
Good.
I did. And we patched things up, and I apologized, and I thought of you guys actually
Yes!
right before I texted him. I actually had wrote the paragraph, and I said, what would Josh do?
Oh,
And I pressed send.
man, I'm
That's
a cry.
fucked up. Not what I do. Damn.
Because he was on his OG shit.
What would
like,
Josh do?
Yeah,
That's
you know, he be little
cool.
nigga in
That
there
makes
sometimes.
me
He be
feel
sunning
nice,
us
man.
sometimes. So
That makes me feel
sometimes,
nice.
yeah.
Thank you.
But nah, for sure.
So
would've
you
blocked the number.
detach. You detach.
Yeah, detachment is a red flag for me. Sometimes-
Emotionally,
everything,
like
everything.
spiritually, all that.
Yeah, it's almost like I never existed or you never existed. One of us is gonna feel it in some way.
But you feel regardless.
Yeah.
Yes. So you
Yeah,
detach,
yeah.
but you it's spiteful detaching.
In some cases.
Yeah.
In most cases.
In most cases.
So it's
In most cases.
it's punishment.
Yeah.
It's like you're gonna put people in like a emotional kind of purgatory.
I mean, it could be punishment, but I don't think the intent is almost to protect myself.
Protecting is defense
Yeah,
mechanism.
it's like it's a defense mechanism. I'm gonna protect me, protect my feelings before I allow you to harvest any more of my energy, my emotions. I can't invest any more in you, so I'm just gonna cut the head off of the snake.
Yeah.
We not gonna slow burn this. You're not gonna know
Oh.
nothing about. I just have to detach.
Okay, so you're not saying that you detach just to make people pay, and then you're like, well, when they act right, they could come. I might
Not
turn
weaponizing,
around. Right,
yeah.
you're not
I've done it
weaponizing.
before. I've done that before.
Okay.
I ain't gonna lie. I've definitely
Okay.
done that, but I don't prefer to do that. Like, I don't want to hurt you in most cases. Some
He's like-
cases I do want to
He's
hurt
like,
you.
don't
though.
make me pull it out if I ain't got to use. You know what I'm saying? That's
yeah.
definitely red flag.
Yeah. So I think detachment is definitely one of the.
What's your sign?
I'm a Capricorn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Father's a Capricorn.
I'm
That's a
Cap-
red flag.
It might be to
Horoscopes.
some.
No.
Oh, in
People who
general?
ask people's signs.
See, every week I'm gonna point out when Josh comes for me. Every week I'm gonna do it now.
Oh shit. Yeah, so that's what I would probably I would waive. That's probably my biggest
Yeah.
red flag. I detach, and it really it gets in the way of me creating relationships sometimes.
Yeah.
It really does.
Creating them?
Hmm.
Not
Like-
okay.
Creating, not even just maintaining. Maintaining, once you're in, we in. Like, you gang now. Like, we in
Yeah.
this shit for life. Because I don't really like
They
you
made it
niggas
through
like
gladiator school.
that. Yeah.
What
Yeah,
does
so-
what does being in mean then?
You
What does
know,
that look
we
like?
have rapport, we trust each other, we, can rely on each other. We're friends, or whatever it is. Like, we've created a space within each other that says, I'm here,
Mhm.
you're here, and let's, see where this goes. That's what in is for me.
Trust.
Trust, yeah, sure.
Safety.
Trust, safety.
They're
all
not
of
gonna
those.
you risk versus reward. You're willing to take the risk
Yes.
because you feel safe enough to
Yeah.
take that risk.
But it's brutal. It is so brutal for people that genuinely care to get to know me,
Yeah.
care to have a conversation. It's fucking horrible, and I hate it about myself because it stems from my ability to detach. I also avoid. It's avoidance too.
You push people away as well.
I don't think it's intentional.
No, I'm not.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
but
my question.
unintentionally, yes, I do.
You do. Okay.
Unintentionally, yes. It's avoidant and it's detachment, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think those would be my two biggest red flags that I try to work on.
So you're like a wall and people trying to get their arms around you.
I be walling this shit sometimes, man.
I be walling.
I be walling. Yeah. You know the shit that Trump tried to build?
Child.
It was me.
You
Over
got
there.
one of them? You
Yeah,
got
I
one of
built one
them?
of them things.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so that's my red flag. Antoinette, your turn.
I think many, but I think my red flag, the thing that I think I've heard the most is that I have a lot of convictions.
Ooh.
I have a ton of them. And so when...
That feels misogynist.
It does.
Wait,
feels
what?
right.
It sounds like a man told you that.
No. You,
Like,
yeah.
like-
Not that you feel like a misogynist.
Oh.
It feels like the people have told you that are misogynists.
Yes.
No,
Like
women...
you are a woman with opinions, and I don't like it.
So it's
That's
not
what it
just...
sounds like.
It
It's not just opinions. It's I have a very clear idea of how I want to live my life. And the people around me, I expect that from. And I will hold up a fucking mirror to them until they show up in the way that I think they're their best selves.
Oh, fairy tailing.
And I push. And I'm often not wrong, I gotta say. And maybe that's another red flag, the fact I just said that. But I'm often
I'm often not wrong. I ain't never wrong.
haven't. No. I'm wrong a lot. I'm wrong a lot. But when it comes to me holding up that mirror and being like, "Is this the best version of you?" If it is, I'll love it. But I don't think it is. You know, maybe dealing with that man's wife, or excuse me, that woman's husband.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the best version of you?
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious because I'm not really going to tolerate it. And that's really hard for friendships when you're dealing with people who are like, yo, I'm a fucking human and I'm doing my best. I'm like, I don't think that is your best at this time.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to stand by and watch you do this shit. And I'm not going to co-sign it. I'm not the co-sign friend. I'm the friend that was on there like, did y'all vote today? This is how advanced that we recorded this. Like, midterms of the day. Did y'all vote? Where y'all at? What's going on? I'm that person. Well, you got this much time.
You the
I don't want to hear no
buddy.
complaints. I'm the accountability person. And that is annoying. That can be annoying when you're constantly doing that with people.
But is that a red flag?
It is because
It's a red flag when you
my
can't turn it
opinion,
off.
when you can't turn it
Okay,
off.
okay.
And when, I will be honest, sometimes there's certain things that like, oh, the golden rule. Yeah, there's, not everything's fucking black and white.
Facts.
What if this person's husband is in a relationship where they have an agreement? Did I even know that? Did I ask that question before I jumped to that judgment?
You just heard husband.
Exactly.
It could be
so,
separation. It could
and
be a
when I
lot,
say
yeah.
convictions, they're my deeply rooted convictions where other people are like, girl, I don't feel that way. Leave me alone.
This feels less like you have a lot of convictions, more that you're judgmental.
Heard you.
That's what it sounds like.
Josh strikes again with Antoinette.
I can't make an observation.
He said, bitch, this ain't convictions, you judgy.
Right? Because a conviction is...
And here goes back to the horoscope, Libra, judge and jury. So yes.
Yeah.
So yes, I think that I do tend to look at things and be like, instead of being like, that's not for me, I'm not getting involved, and let people go on about their business. I'm like, let me change that. Let me just ask some leading questions and possibly shame you a little bit into moving the way I want you to move.
You're evangelizing.
It's fucked up.
Versus
It's fucked up.
just practicing
And
your
I'm
religion.
getting better at it. I'm letting
That's
people do their
fucked
thing.
up. Nah, that's fucked up.
No, like, but it's
Yo, that's fucked.
No,
If she
deadass.
wanna fuck a husband,
If
let her
you-
fuck that husband,
No,
bro.
I can't. Something
you
in me.
gotta let her get it
So
off.
listen, I had a friend who was dealing with someone who was partnered. And I was like, I don't want to hear about this, and don't talk to me about it until you, because one, it was really wreaking havoc on her self-esteem.
Yeah.
And it was also messy in other ways that I won't get into, but it was messy and dangerous. And I was like, this is a bad fucking idea.
Yeah.
And I don't want to sit on the group chat and hear about it and be like, oh, girl, that's
wanna
crazy.
kiki
It's
about
getting,
that
I'm not
shit,
kikiing about something that's serious
nuanced,
like this.
though. This
It's
is
very-
a little different.
Very nuanced. That was very nuanced.
It's like protecting your peace too, because that person might be emotionally dumping on you, and then you got to deal with their problems.
It was less about emotional dumping, I'll be honest, and more about me being like, this is the ghetto.
Okay.
This is whack.
And that
You're
is-
better than
that's
this,
a
and
little
I'm not
different.
gonna I'm not gonna tolerate this from
Yeah.
you. You are better than this. This is disappointing. I don't want to hear about it.
You know why
And
that's
so I can come off as this authoritative figure in a lot of relationships, and that's a problem.
Do you
You're
mind? Do you
using-
mind if I use a different word?
Judgy, bitchy. What are you about to say?
Nah. And the only reason why I add the word is not to judge you for that, but more so to give it kind of more clarity in language. Is that if I was on the receiving end of that, the word I would use is condescending.
Oh yes,
So
absolutely.
like it makes you feel inferior to hear those kinds of things, what then
Absolutely.
kind of makes you feel it's a fucked up cycle, because like this person feels bad about their decisions, and then this other person's making them feel bad already about their decisions they already feel bad for. So I get what you're
And
saying.
so the way that I've tried to be better at this is to just be like, I'm concerned, like I love you. Is this really what you want?
Yeah.
Does this really make you happy? And if it does, okay, but if it doesn't, I want to see you happy and get what you deserve. So
Yeah.
I've gotten better at that, but baby, in the past, I'd be like, this is fucking crazy. This is whack. This is beneath you, and I don't have
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Let me know when you level up,
Yeah, I feel you.
which is not loving,
No,
but it
no.
was
No.
honest,
I feel you.
right?
Yeah.
It goes back to that.
I might have had his red flag, because I'm the type of person, if someone's doing something really out of pocket, like I'll be like,
I don't have time.
I had a friend of mine, I was talking about this the other day. I had a friend of mine who, at the big age of, he's older than me, probably like 36, 37. At the big age of 36, 37.
he looked you dead in your soul too.
We
Antoinette.
adults. We adults.
He looked you dead in your
It's
soul.
my-
SaVon, you see it?
Nah, I was waiting. I
He
was
be
trying
coming
to.
for me
I
every
was trying. I was
podcast.
trying to make eye
That's
contact
1
with
year
you.
older than me, boy. Don't
Listen
play
for a
with
second.
I was.
You
I
know
was.
what?
At
Josh.
our big age,
Yes.
right?
All of us collectively big ages.
I got a text message from this man that said, bro, can you call me in 5 minutes and say that there's an emergency and you need me to come to you?
See, I don't have time for that.
Nah, those. Did you hold it down?
I
You
did,
called-
but listen, hold
That's
on.
all that matters.
Let me
Make sure he shot the call.
let me explain this whole scenario.
Okay.
Because it was so wild. I was with my girl, and we're
Okay.
walking. I think we were in the park with our fucking kids for soccer. And
Okay.
it's so absurd to me. I'm like, I haven't got one of these since I'm like 16.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like this grown-ass man is hitting me up to text him because he's trying to
Childish.
get out of a situation he
situation.
got with some girl.
Yeah.
So I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I don't even know what to make up. I am 30 years old. What, I'm getting jumped? What the fuck do I say? I got 2 kids. I'm at soccer practice. I don't know what to say to create this emergency.
That's valid.
So I'm like, and in my head, I started judging this motherfucker. I'm like, you putting me in this situation. So I called him a few minutes later,
Some shit deserves judgment.
and I thought about
Not.
the only thing I could think about was not what he wanted to happen. I was like, hey, bro, I got a job in Brooklyn coming up. I need to hire you for. Are you available today? It's like in about 2 hours. Can you make it here?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, now you have a choice to make. Whoever you're with, you have to let them know
I
you're
love it.
prioritizing money over them.
See, I can't
I
fuck with
love
y'all.
it.
No,
I love it.
it
Good
has
job.
to be an
Good
audience
job,
that I
Josh.
gotta
Let's
represent
go.
right now, because I can't let y'all get this judgmental
I love
shit
it.
off. Y'all
Grow
are
up, level up, let's go.
Absolutely not, because in both of your scenarios, there was a point where y'all could have decided to, sure, you feel how you feel. You have the right to reserve your feelings, your
Yeah.
thoughts. But to pat, you could.
It's given
y'all,
enabling.
Y'all both
Yeah.
said friends, right?
Yeah.
Y'all said these are friends.
If you're my friend,
Whether you support,
I'ma keep it
agree
100.
or not,
Thank
and you
you.
can keep it 100, but you can also support.
I did support.
You
I
get what I'm
called.
saying? You can but you supported in
you
a,
did more than
in
what
a
I would have did.
condescending
No,
way.
that wasn't condescending.
No, it wasn't.
I presented him the option.
I presented him.
SaVon, don't
I
ever
got
call
him.
me trying to get out of nothing, because the way I will leave your ass hanging,
trust me.
See, listen, I
would
made
not.
the call.
No. You are not the first.
SaVon, I know exactly who to call.
Yeah.
Listen, I called him. I gave him the out. He had to exercise it. I would not have felt right for me to lie in any other way. I lied in the most adult way possible. I
Okay.
presented a money-making opportunity. I really wouldn't have felt like, what else could I have said? I don't know what else I could have said.
Yeah.
Like, you know how absurd in front of my 18-month-old son and my fiance, I was gonna be on the phone like, yo, I'm getting jumped right now. I need you. What?
Also, who's getting jumped and calling somebody?
The flat
in the-
tire you can never go wrong with. I'm
flat-
just
Wow.
throw it.
The
I
fact
didn't
that
even
he
think
has
about
that
that.
ready in
I
his
didn't
even
back
think about that.
pocket.
The flat
Yeah.
tire you can never go wrong.
All right, I'm seeing
That's
another
it.
flag
Want to
for
know?
SaVon.
And this might be a flag for me. I am too masculine to pretend like I can't turn my own tire. I could change my own tire. I'm not.
No,
gonna,
but he can't. Oh, like you can't. But that's all rooted in your ego.
Oh,
You don't know that girl that he's trying to escape from.
Yeah,
you
I know
have
him,
no
though.
idea. Like
I know him. I know he needed it.
bro,
I know he needed.
and
I know he needed.
it's ego.
A check.
It's ego. It's ego.
You wanna know what I said the next time I
you
seen
did to
him?
your friend was put your ego
No.
versus your friend. Yes,
SaVon.
that was an egotistical move
I
to
feel- I
make
don't
a
think
decision to
it's
say, "Hey,
ego.
listen to the thought." The thought was, all right, I'm gonna help you, but on my terms, because I can't fathom to say something that may bruise my ego. Because I could
Bruise your ego.
Listen, maybe you didn't think about the tire, so let me reel it back a little bit. But you presented money. You said it has to be an alternative. It could have been anything in the world, but it had to make sense to you and your story and how you felt, which is rooted in yes.
think
no,
you're missing
let me
what
let me
he's
let me
saying.
help you out here
Okay.
because
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest things that are missing from the explanation on this is that he came to me for help.
That's
came-
ego.
No. That's
does that
not
matter?
ego.
Hear him out. Hear him out.
He came to me. He does not make the choice on how I choose to help.
Mhm.
That's not my ego.
Mhm.
It's just authentic to me.
But why wouldn't you?
You
help
can't
him
force
in-
somebody to show up in a way that they're uncomfortable showing
Yeah,
up.
it's not
You
an
can't
ego thing. I
you
couldn't
can't hit
lie.
me up and ask me to lie for you and then be mad when I don't, when that doesn't sit
Or
right
be
with
mad
me.
at the kind of lie. Like
Yeah,
I
no.
just didn't come with that. It wasn't an ego thing. Like here's the thing. My ego.
Jesus Christ.
My ego.
What am I listening to right
If-
now?
if-
you guys are
I'm
fucking.
shocked
I'm
that you're not
flabbergasted.
getting
No, but
this.
listen. If I would have said I got jumped, it's not about my ego. I wouldn't have felt like my ego was bruised from that. I would have just felt dirty. Like I would have been like, I'm talking about getting jumped at 30 years old with my son right here. I would have felt
it's
so
a
silly.
liar. Yeah.
Okay, when you put the kids into
It's
it,
just an
I have to-
immaturity that doesn't exist in me at that point in my life. I've
That's
done
it.
it. I've
Of
done it
course.
before. I have done it. Okay.
I
sure.
blame him for not being smart enough to know who to call and to know that you're past this
I
point
wasn't
in
the
your
one.
life. Right.
And I spoke to him about it.
Sir.
The next day I seen him and I was like, bro, what happened? Tell me this story.
Mm-hmm.
And then he told me the whole story. It was fucking wild. And I was like, I'm not surprised. You're a lowlife.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him just like that. And I was like, you know?
and there's the judgment.
and that's the judgment. Like, and again, and maybe I took it to an extreme, but to some capacity, to some level, that is your ego. The fact that you couldn't just say, "Yeah, I got jumped," just to again
I have another red flag.
of yourself.
No, keep going.
Okay, just for you to give him the best case scenario, it still had to fit your narrative. It had to
Yeah.
fit where you were in your life at
Yes.
that time. Now, granted, you're in front of your kids. You probably don't want to say that in front of your kids, so I'm not going to go there with you.
Yeah.
But it could have been anything in the world.
I see what you're saying.
Where it would have been like, you know what? I'm going to look out for my guy in this moment. Sure, this is not who I am. This is not where I'm at in life. But if he needs me in this way,
I
don't-
wasn't willing to
Oh,
sacrifice that for him.
Exactly.
And
In
he-
a split second, a split moment, you made a conscious decision, which is why I say it's rooted in ego.
I don't know if I would describe that as ego.
It is.
More so that I describe that as a value judgment.
So why couldn't you say, "Yo, I'm getting jumped"?
It's just not authentic to me.
But it's
It's not about ego.
you.
No.
He needed
But it
help.
is about me. He came to
It's-
me.
It's not about you.
So I'm gonna give you an example.
It's about helping your friend
Yeah.
in any way that you need, but you had to dress it up in a way that it worked for you.
You could only help in the ways that you can help.
You could have. All you had to do was say anything.
Yeah. No, that's
You
not
could've
how
said
that works.
anything.
It's okay.
You don't.
Why doesn't it? Why doesn't that
May I-
work?
may I add
Because-
something?
Go ahead.
I don't. I reject the idea that because someone has a relationship with me or is a friend of mine, they get to determine what help I am comfortable with giving
Yes.
versus what help I am not. If it goes deeply against my morals
Your ethics
and my ethics
Mhm.
and what I am comfortable with,
Yeah.
call somebody else.
Okay.
In that moment, I will show up in the best way that I can. But if somebody hits me up, and this is not the same thing, but I'm using it as an example, and says, "Yo, I'm fucked up. Somebody did jump me. I need you to come through and come ready."
Called the wrong
strap.
one.
Get the strap.
guess what? I got too much shit to lose. This ain't in alignment
called the
with
wrong
what
one.
you called the wrong person.
Yes.
But also, if someone called me and said, I need you to lie, da 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 da, and it was based off of deceiving someone else, not
Yeah.
to really help them and like get them
The
out of
stakes
harm's
weren't that
way.
high.
If the stakes, and that is my right to
Absolutely,
determine
right. Absolutely.
when in which I am going to go against my morals and go against
Yeah.
what I'm comfortable with.
You know what it's
You're
like?
right in
Period.
two ways. Like just there is ego involved, just not in the lie. There's ego involved where I'm making a value judgment on that person.
Yes.
Where I'm saying I know better than what you know, right? Where I'm saying, hey, what you're doing
Yes.
is lower than me, right? So like I'm making a judgment. That is ego.
Facts.
My ego is like I'm not willing to let go of the fact that I am egotistical in the way that I feel I'm better than this.
Yes.
Yes. I will
Absolutely.
give you that. Yeah, I'm better than this situation. Immediately. Now, I let go of my ego and lied. Right? That's why I can't agree with what you're saying that yeah, there's ego involved in my value judgment and saying, hey, your values are less than my values in that moment. But I tossed my ego to the side and I said, all right, let me call this motherfucker. And I called him.
It
So,
also might not be a less than thing. I'm sorry. It might just be a different. It's different.
No, I felt like it was less than.
Oh, okay.
100%.
Well, I'm just offering that. Sometimes
Yes.
it's just
Different
this
spaces.
Isn't, we in different places.
Like,
that's not what I'm into.
the
That's
example
not my vibe.
the example you used is different.
Different.
Very-
I'm just not.
very much
I'm not
different.
engaging
If
with
you was
that.
ready to knuckle up,
Right.
Yeah, that's very
We're
different.
in different places. I'm
Yeah.
not able to engage.
It
in that
reminds
way.
me. It reminds me of if you ever been out with a friend and your friend is drinking a little bit, and now your friend gets into it with somebody else, and you know your friend is dead wrong.
it's a red flag.
Child.
Bro, you should not have touched that man's girlfriend. You should not have tried to dance with that man's girl.
now I gotta fight for him.
And now it's like, you know what? Here, I'm gonna front face this shit and I'm gonna fight
gonna
with
talk
you.
about this later.
But then later, I'm gonna have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm at. It's like, yo, should I put myself
Those
in this
stakes
position?
are a little higher and a little
It's-
different.
Of course, but
It
again,
also depends on
Yeah.
what club we at.
I'm just using. That is a great point.
Like,
I'm just using
who's
an
the
example.
guy, his girl he touched? Does he look like he got a hammer on him?
Absolutely, all of those things should be
Split second
considered.
decisions, baby. You gotta be like,
And that's what I meant by like, yeah, it was. In
There's
my
ego
opinion,
involved.
In my opinion, that did, and I think even for you, Antoinette, like, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong. I just do want to be able to identify when it's at play because you do have such a strong ethic and moral code that you refuse to compromise in certain situations, right? And like you said, you do have that right. But going back to when I said, when I show up for my friends, meaning I'm willing to sacrifice whatever. If you need me to say, bro, I just smoked a bad joint and now I'm running around the street butt ass naked because my pack was bad, I'm going to get on the phone
That's
and say
different.
that. But whatever it takes.
Stakes are high. Stakes are high.
Yeah, the stake.
You calling me because you on a bad Tinder date versus you,
Yes.
you know, smoking a woo
course.
banger and fucking wilding out.
Of course, the stakes definitely vary.
yeah.
But in my opinion, the example that you used, the stakes were as low as it could be.
Yes.
You owe nothing to that woman. That's your friend. Y'all can handle it later. Whatever
You're
he
talking
needed
about
you to
in
say
terms
in
of
that
a
moment.
loyalty thing.
Yeah, and I don't even want to use I don't want to call you disloyal for
No,
not
no,
doing.
no,
You know
no.
what I'm saying?
I'm not taking it that
It's
way.
not disloyal,
But
but
it speaks to your values, is what I'm saying.
what do you need me to do right now? I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Now later, I'm gonna curse you the fuck out because why do you got me doing it?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna do it now. Like Antoinette is thinking big. You're
I'm
thinking macro. Like, oh, I'm not gonna risk my livelihood. I'm not gonna risk my health. I'm not gonna risk those kind of things.
I agree with you to a point. There are certain ways in which my friends, there's one thing they could say about me. I'ma show up
Yeah.
and I'ma be in support. They know I have their back,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to enable.
Yo.
That's what I'm not gonna do.
And that's what he's just said. I'm polar to that. The stakes are low. I can fuck with you.
That is what
The stakes are low.
I'm not fucking with nobody on purpose.
No. The stakes are low. No one can die here. No one. There's a lesson to be learned. And as your friend, if I can help mediate that lesson, I'm gonna do it because you're not gonna die. Because I won't do this if the stakes are high. If you call me and you're like, yo, bro, I'm stranded on the highway. I'm like, I'm on my way. I'll be there. But you're calling me about a date that you don't want to be on.
Yeah.
I'm fucking with you. and we're gonna talk about it.
So,
And I'm gonna tell you why.
and
Because you're a bonehead.
And again, this isn't a conversation about ego, it's still red flags. But let's talk about one of the red flags that I just picked up on you.
Yeah.
I think
I feel you.
I believe that the scenario that you just painted, like, hey, the stakes are low, so I'm gonna fuck with you.
Yeah.
Even that is rooted in your ego.
It is. I know better. That's
You get
what
what I'm
that's what
saying?
it stems from.
Even that is rooted in your ego.
100%.
because
That was crazy.
You're in. What do you mean?
Just me pointing at him without him
you
seeing it.
stupid. Yeah.
Yeah. I do not disagree with you. I know better.
Okay.
And I feel like I knew better in that scenario because I'm not making the decisions in life at 30 years old where I'm on a Tinder date that I regret being on.
But that's you, and everybody has a different process.
Oh,
And so
100%.
If the people around you that you care about aren't where you are in life, it's not for you, in my opinion,
To judge.
I thought this friend was cheating. That's why I was like, what? I
Nah.
ain't fucking lying for you.
Y'all want the whole story on that?
No,
No.
don't tell your person's business.
Real quick.
Jesus,
He don't give a fuck. I'm not going to name names. But let me tell you the whole story on this, which makes me even more satisfied and why I'm really sitting in this conviction on why I know better.
Okay.
He went on 6 dates in a matter of 4 hours. And he was on his 4th date and he needed to make it to his 5th. All right? That's why he wanted me to call him.
But regardless,
No.
it's not for you to judge and teach him that lesson.
It is, though.
Hold him down.
You wanna know why?
And let life teach
No.
him
May I
the
ask a
lesson.
question?
No.
May I
It's
ask a-
not for you.
He called me.
It's for help.
He knows who
not
I am.
for a lesson.
No. He called
But
me.
do you
I helped him.
What do you think friendship is? Because I want lessons from my friends.
Me too.
Absolutely.
I want my friends to like
Oh, for sure.
hold that mirror
Challenge
up
me.
to me, challenge me,
Absolutely.
teach me something new, and hold my ass the fuck
I'm not
accountable.
going to enable it.
Not in the
Yeah.
moment. That's my thing.
Stakes aren't that high.
Not in the moment.
SaVon
It doesn't
said,
matter.
"Not right now."
Not in
Hit
the
me
moment.
later.
SaVon don't want to be challenged.
I do want to be challenged.
You want to be lectured. There's
You
a
want to be
difference.
challenged in your way.
Yeah, there's a difference.
You have
That's not a
stipulations.
challenge.
How does flip on me? What
It
the
only
fuck are they
not-
doing?
It's not a flip.
What the fuck is happening?
It's not us versus you. It's you want to be held accountable in
your
the
way.
ways in which you are comfortable being held
Yes.
accountable. But in the moment, you want to be able to do SaVon and then teach me something on the side, and maybe I'll implement
Yes.
it. Heard you,
Yeah,
King.
you want choice.
Heard you.
That's
That's
how I reciprocate. So
But
maybe that's what I also want.
Watch me reel this shit in real
Reel
quick.
that
Watch
thing
me
in.
work. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that that's what you need,
Okay.
I will love you enough
Mhm.
to do my best to operate in that way. If I ever see you in a moment doing some wild shit, I know, and it's not, and the stakes aren't high where I'm like, if the stakes are high and I think you about to really fuck up,
Of course.
I'm pulling your coattail right then and there.
Absolutely.
But if the stakes aren't that high, now that you have expressed what you need,
Mhm.
I can agree that I will wait, watch, and then give you an offering a little later. Do you think this was the best thing? Let me ask you.
And it goes to learning styles too. So maybe
Yeah.
that is the best way for me to learn. So that's also the best. Like that's the
And I
energy.
think you might learn
that
by
I
bumping
give.
your head a couple times and burning your hand on that motherfucker.
I was
We
you.
all do a little.
What you're describing, I was you. I used to feel that same way, and I would get heated about like, yo, you be loyal to your fucking people.
Yeah.
Like you show up for them, they need you. It doesn't matter, right? Like they could be loud and wrong with them, and then y'all go back to the war room and discuss it.
Exactly.
I was you.
Yeah.
I was also a gangbanger, and
I am not.
But no, my point
Just wanna
is,
clarify.
my point is that there's a very thin veil between the idea of being loyal to your friends because you think loyalty is what's best for them versus showing up for your friends in the ways that they may need you to show up. So like, I know that friend. I was able to gauge that. There's gray area there. It's not black and white. I know for this particular person, the stakes weren't that high. I can do that without one, offending his ideals, two, without hurting him in any real physical way or emotional way, and three, we'd get a good laugh at it.
You know the
Yeah.
type
And we
of love he
laughed.
needs.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know the approach.
You might have fucked up the rest of his dates.
No.
Cause now, no,
Let me tell you something, SaVon.
No,
if
he
I
went
catch
and
you
fucked
out
some girl in
on
a
6
car.
dates,
I'm never
see,
gonna be that guy. That's not where I'm at in life.
the dating pool.
It-
You started off
it's
the dating pool is
contaminated.
full of piss.
There we go.
It's contaminated.
We weren't talking about dating, but child,
It is
Here we
contaminated.
are.
Do we have a solution for red flags? Anything? Do we
I
run away?
think the solution.
Run.
No, I
Do we
really,
run towards them? Because sometimes I ain't gonna lie, I run towards red
I
flags.
know, yeah, I know you
they
do.
they be alright sometimes. It's like, oh, ooh, I gotta see what's behind that one, and then I go to the next one. I'm like, wait, hold up,
I think
ain't
the
need that shit.
solution is Know who you dealing with and love them to the best of your ability and the way they need,
Now
child.
try them
'Cause
things out sometimes though.
the way SaVon is unraveling this.
No, but listen, sometimes the best red flags give the best
Josh,
head.
you are the SaVon whisperer. Go
No,
ahead.
for-
Help
I'm
me
dead-
out.
I'm serious. Think about all the red flags you met.
I'd be jumping
They
in on this right
gave
now
you
if
the-
it was a few years ago.
They give it
No,
up.
they didn't.
The red flag.
They
I'ma
gave
give
me
my-
a fucking headache
And they
and
probably,
wasted my
They
time.
ain't lay down the hammer.
No,
Not one.
no.
Damn.
It ain't right. And if they did, I would have much rather had peace in my life.
I ain't talking about emotional. I know you always want peace and you should strive for peace. But from the physical, I think about the red flags. He probably earned himself a few extra weeks because
I can't with this.
I'm telling you, when I met the red flags, I was like,
SaVon,
damn, where
I'm
you learn that
35
move?
years old. I'm not doing this with you.
Okay.
I'm really not.
Okay.
I love you.
I could be right. It's okay.
You're right.
It's okay. The red flags be fun sometimes, bro.
Red
Yes,
flags.
but it depends on the kind of red flag. If
It's
you talk about like,
fun.
oh, this person, that's not my life partner. They gonna
Yeah.
be fun though. That's different than like somebody. The red flag that I mentioned was
Red flag
somebody
is
not
a-
being able to communicate from a place of love. I
Yeah.
don't give a fuck how good your penis
That's
is.
true.
I'm good, love, enjoy.
Some red flags be a good checkpoint.
Yeah. Not
Yeah.
every
You
red
stop
flag is
there,
life
you
or
keep
death.
going.
I had somebody, they woke up and the first thing they ate was soda.
Oh my God.
They drank soda and they would have a breakfast sandwich with chips. And I was like, wow, if that's not a red flag, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
I'm about to throw my pH off. But
You had just
what a
slept with that
time to be
person?
alive, you know? And then I had to be like, all right, that was cute, but
That's
I
all I
gotta go
need.
because I can't get accidentally pregnant by you. I feel you on that red flag part. I get it.
Thank
You probably
you.
wouldn't have because his sperm count was probably
Exactly.
real low.
It was a mess. But I'm just like,
The 50 cent drinks.
minuscule
Yeah.
micro red flag,
Micro,
maybe
yeah.
a little doo-doo-doo, but the macro, nah,
Yeah, not the macro.
run, y'all.
Yeah, run away from those.
I would say run away from all of them, but if you got time to
No.
waste, go ahead and play.
I don't
Play,
think
play.
so. I think that
Play, play.
we all have red flags. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that there is a degree to which where we have to understand I can't work with these particular flags.
Yeah.
I think that like my partner has red flags, I have red flags, and we make it work because we understand our red flags.
Yeah.
So my advice on this whole topic would be before you judge somebody else's flags, look at yourself,
Mm-hmm.
work those out, and then you'll be able to empathize and show more compassion in the people that you come in contact with.
Yo,
That was an
there you
amazing
go.
way.
There
Yeah.
you go. SaVon whisperer and Antoinette whisperer sometimes.
An
Red
amazing
flags
way.
do give some great fellatio.
I
Though.
can't. All right, we're
It's
done.
the Can't Afford Therapy podcast. Let us know about your red flag fellatio.
See, somebody said.
fellatio.
All right, we did the best we could, child.
Man, I was trying so hard not to jump in on the antics. I was trying so hard.
Good.